Owning real estate properties is a dream of many people, but it can get intimidating if you're a beginner. Some people don't even start because they could be confused, sometimes it's overwhelming, or they don't have enough information. Hi, I'm PV Imperial from Rampver Realty, and I hope that this video will help you take those next steps towards achieving that dream. I'll be sharing my own real estate journey, the things that I've learned along the way, the insights that I got, and of course the mistakes I've made so that you don't make them too. Let's get started. First, what is real estate? It refers to the land as well as any physical structure that is on it. So example po nito would be either a house or a condo. It can also be used for various purposes, so residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, and the like. Pero for this video po, let's focus on residential properties. There are different ways to invest in real estate. So, one of the exciting ways po now that was introduced in the Philippines a few years ago would be investing through REITs. Another would be the more traditional way, so buying, selling, and leasing out real estate properties. People usually buy real estate for two reasons. The first would be for end use, so a place to live in. The second would be for wealth generation, so as an investment. Marami pong benefits in investing in real estate. So the first would be that it's a source of passive income. I remember after graduating from college, I started working. Dumating ako sa bahay, sobrang late na. Pinuntahan ko yung tatay ko, sabi ko, pagod na ako, ang dami kong ginagawa. He looked at me, tinawanan pa niya ako, and then he said, alam mo, yung sweldo mo para sa buong buwan na to, kinita ko na kaninang umaga, habang nagtututbrush ako. Sana all, diba? No, he's not a celebrity. No one will ever pay him to watch him brush his teeth. All he just meant was that he had various investments, including real estate properties, that were earning him money while he was doing something else. So he wasn't his own bottleneck. It's always beneficial to have multiple streams of passive income so that eventually we can work because we want to and not because we have to. Next is capital appreciation. So, land is a limited resource and alam nyo naman po na growing population yung Philippines. This will cause a rise in demand as people move out of their homes, start their own families, and because of this higher demand and limited supply, prices tend to naturally go up. Did you guys know that lots in Dasmariñas Village, Makati were at 150 pesos per square meter back in 1969? Today, they're at around 500,000 per square meter. If I could travel back in time, I would definitely purchase there. And I see the same thing happening for these other new areas that are being developed. There's really a lot of potential for appreciation. Another reason would be the rising cost in construction. This includes the raw materials, the labor, and the like. So a building that was constructed, let's say 10 years ago, will not be built at the same price today kasi mas mahal na po yung iba't ibang materials. So especially po for pre-selling properties na ginagawa po ng mga developer, the higher cost of construction is something that they embed in the property price when they sell it to their clients. When you purchase real estate, you can also take advantage of something called leverage. If you're buying to invest, then this could be considered good debt because you're borrowing money in order for that money to grow. There are different ways. So the first one would be through a bank loan, and another could be through in-house financing from a developer for pre-selling properties. This is special because most in-house financing are at 0% interest. So one, you lock in the price when you reserve the property, and two, mas mataas po yung yield ng investment nyo if you take advantage of the in-house financing. An example of a payment term could be 10% down payment, 10% spread across 4 years, and 80% lump sum to be paid after those 4 years. So for 4 years, you're only going to be paying 20%. Let's say you purchase a 5 million property now in 2024. After 4 years, it won't be 5 million anymore. So let's say it's at 6 million. By then, before your lump sum, you've only been paying for 20%, but the appreciation of your property will be based on the total property price and not just the 20% that you've already paid. Ito po yung power ng leverage. So like what I said earlier, you're borrowing money to make your money grow even more. I just have 2 caveats for people who are looking to flip their property. So flipping means that you're purchasing the property but want to sell it on or before the lump sum is due. I always tell people that it's still important to have a long-term view for real estate in case situations happen. An example of this po would be the pandemic. May mga buildings na ready na po for turnover, so due na po yung lump sum. Pero yung mga tao po na looking to flip and don't have money to pay for the lump sum or to bank loan for that lump sum had to sell their property. However, those with staying power were able to go through and pay for their lump sum, and then later when the property prices are better, that's when you can sell or unload your property. Next is that there are applicable taxes and fees involved in selling a property. So pag may nakita po kayo na selling price outside in the market, that's not necessarily the net price or the net profit that you're going to be getting for the property if you sell it. So important po na tama yung computations nyo before you sell or market your property. Medyo mahabang usapan po yun, so comment down below if that's something that you want us to discuss in another video. The next benefit is that real estate is actually an inflation hedge, meaning it's something that can protect you from inflation. It's a good way to secure your money because the capital appreciation can actually keep up or do better than the inflation rate. Ano ba yung inflation? So, inflation is the rising cost of goods and services. 5 years ago, pag pumasok po kayo ng grocery, medyo marami pong maaabot ang 500 pesos nyo. Pero ngayon po, medyo mas konti. This is because the prices went up. So, real estate is one of the best ways to protect you from inflation. Real estate is also tangible. It's something that you can see, something that you can feel, something that you can make memories in. Diba? Matitirahan nyo po ba ang stock certificate ninyo? Real estate gives us different sense of fulfillment for people who own it. And lastly, real estate can be a legacy. It's an asset that can be passed on from generation to generation. So purchasing real estate was a strategic move for my portfolio. In-assess ko po yung investments ko, yung finances ko, and I realized na ready na po ako to take that next step to purchase real estate property. So that would be a tip. I think that there are other items in our finances that we should have first before we have real estate. An example of this would be an emergency fund. So the computation of this can change for different people, pero yung rule of thumb po is 3 to 6 months. But of course, this can be different, especially if you have a family, if you're a breadwinner, and especially if you're purchasing property, siguro po dapat taasan ng konti, just in case anything happens, para you have some liquidity in your finances. So for me po, siguro mga 6 months to 1 year, but this one would really be dependent on your current situation and your expenses. For my first real estate investment, I had a tight budget. So I couldn't afford something that was already within a developed community. What I did was I purchased in a property in a new estate wherein I saw that there's still a lot of milestones, there's still a lot of institutions that will be built there. Another would be na hindi pa siya masyadong accessible, wala pa masyadong magandang roads that are leading to it, pero may mga plano na po. So I invested in something which I really thought had a lot of growth potential. I was also a real estate broker then, so I was aware of the different information, projects, launches coming up, and the opportunities that were available in the market. A lot of people are also afraid because it could be a big purchase and they put it off for later. But honestly, it was one of the best financial decisions I've ever made. It forced me to prioritize what really matters. And I found creative ways to have multiple streams of income. It's your present self taking care of your future self. So that delayed gratification will really go a long way. It gave me a different sense of fulfillment. So I purchased my first property when I was 24 years old. And I can honestly say that it changed my life. It reminded me that I was capable. It also gave me the confidence to keep striving and to dream even bigger. There are many factors to consider when choosing a property. Always start with purpose. Is your goal short-term or long-term? You need to consider what you want first before you make a plan on how to make money work for you. Do you want passive income, meaning money coming in every month with you managing the rental property? Or would you prefer na patulugin yung pera, yung bibili lang ng lote, wala masyadong kailangan gawin, you don't need to maintain it, and then you sell it for a profit later on when the property appreciates in value? Next is to assess your budget. Like what I said earlier, it's important to look at your finances, and to check if you're already ready to purchase a property. Next is location. Is it in a central business district? Is it in a new estate? Developers who build new estates are very thoughtful when it comes to master planning it. They think about what a person or a family needs and makes it easily accessible to them. This improves or enhances the living experience within a community. And this is so important because it increases desirability. People would want to live in a nice community. And eventually, this desirability will increase the value of the property. Safety is also important to take into consideration when choosing a location. Is it near the fault line? Does it flood often in that area? Next is accessibility. So how close is it to different institutions, let's say like schools, hospitals, malls, and the like? Is it within the range of the new infrastructure developments like different roads and bridges? If wala pa masyadong access to the property, are there roads or bridges that will be built to connect it to other areas? Is it easy to get in and out of the property? Madali ba siyang puntahan? And if you find it accessible or will be accessible in the future, then maybe your tenants and possible future buyers will also think the same way, and you're going to be able to charge a higher rental or a higher selling price for your property. Also note the developer's reputation. Ano po ba yung track record ng developer na yan? Magaling po ba sila sa maintenance ng property? Are they known for giving or turning over properties that they promised? Kasi syempre, we're giving them our hard-earned money, so important rin that we choose developers that we can trust. Condo or lot. So very basic explanation would be that if you purchase a lot, you'll have to wait for it to appreciate in value before you can sell it and get your profit. Pero pag condo, you can lease it out to earn passive income every month. Having a condo entails more active ownership, so association dues could be a bit higher. You'll have to maintain and clean the unit. Sometimes you'll also have to furnish it for the tenant, and of course, look for a tenant to lease out your property so that it's not empty. Personally, I prioritize condos because I'm already in the industry, so it was easier for me to be active and to make sure that my units are leased out. I was ready to take care of everything and I actively manage my properties. But for some people who don't want that hassle and of course just want to own property and not have to manage it, then that's when lots can be more appealing. So I prioritized condos first before I finally purchased a lot that I know would appreciate in value in an estate outside Metro Manila. It really depends on you, on what would work, and what type of ownership you want to have. Next would be unit or lot specifications. For lots, do you want it to be near the amenities or the entrance gates? Do you want it to be more accessible or more private? Do you want lots on flat land or do you want it on a slope? So, syempre, pag flat land, mas madali pong mag-construct ng bahay. Pero for those on a slope, people can take advantage of the building height. So, let's say po na yung maximum for that village is 9 meters. Usually po, it's based on the highest point. So, if ito po yung slope, you can build 9 meters on the highest point. But the lowest point, you can build more than 9 meters because it's going to be based on this side and not this side. There's also a premium on some lot classifications. So an example of this would be a corner lot, or let's say a lot with a view, or something that they call a single loaded lot. So a single loaded lot just means that there's only a lot beside it and there's no lot behind it. So in this way, the two sides are beside roads and the other are beside houses or lots. Feng Shui is also something that people consider, so sometimes they don't like the number 4 or the number 13. And it might not affect you, but then in the future, let's just say if you're gonna lease your property or you're going to sell it, it might affect the desirability or even sometimes lower your property price. For condos, take note of the orientation. Is the unit facing south, facing north, east, or west? Will it be facing afternoon sun or morning sun? Take note of the layout of the property. Is it a good shape? Does it maximize the space? There are also some condos with units that have extra posts on the side while others are just straight. So it might affect in terms of interior designing the space. So I'll show an example here. So it's always important also to check ano ba yung best unit layout na meron. If we're gonna choose anyway, might as well get the best one. Another would be, does it have a good view or masyadong malapit po ba yung building na kaharap niya? Something like that might affect the property price as well. It's also good to check what's surrounding the unit or the lot. So for lots, especially those that aren't turned over yet, good to check also the map if there are things around it. Let's say may nakasabi po na T-pad. So usually po, those are below ground, but sometimes they're also above ground. So it's just good to check just in case. For units naman po, good to check, is it near the elevator? Is it far from the elevator? Is it near the garbage chute or the electrical room? Medyo nakalawit po ba yung unit beside you, outside the window, kasi it could possibly block the view. When you're considering to purchase a property, I would recommend to write down all the specifications that you have, your non-negotiables, kasi it's important to remember them when you're choosing the lot or the unit. Next is financing. So very important to know the payment terms available, all your possible options so that you can get the best deal possible. So I'll share lang po, there was this other property I purchased with my brother. We were able to get it on an early move-in promo. So what does this mean po? We paid the reservation, we paid the down payment, and then while we were paying the monthly payments, we can move in na po the property and we were able to lease it out. So yung passive income po na nakukuha namin from our tenant, we used it to pay the amortization. Hindi po siya fully nagko-cover ng monthly amortization, pero mas maliit po yung binabayaran namin because of the income from the tenant. So it's very important to know what are the best deals out there, if there are opportunities that you can take advantage of, so that you can make the most out of your investment. Lastly, real estate investing is really a commitment. It's important that you do your own research and of course work with someone that you trust, someone that you know will have your best interest in mind. So for pre-selling, again, important to choose a trusted developer. And then for the secondary market naman po, if you're going to be purchasing property that is already owned by someone else, importante rin po to do due diligence. So what are these? One is a certified true copy of title. This is a document that you can get from the registry of deeds. So here you can see if there's any lien or encumbrance in the property title that you're looking to buy. Makikita po dyan if the property is under mortgage or if it has any other problems that have to be fixed first before the property is sold. Another would be tax clearance. So updated po ba yung real property taxes or yung RPT of the property? Has it been fully paid already or is it up to date? Kasi the property title can't be transferred to the new owner if this one isn't paid. Kailangan din po ng TIN validation to make sure all the details of the buyer and the seller are up to date in the BIR system. There are really so many topics that we can still cover, but I think this video is getting very long. I hope that this gave you a good overview and is useful for you when you make your decisions moving forward. Again, I'm PV Imperial from Rampver Realty. If you have any other questions about real estate or want to start your journey, feel free to comment down below or contact us. Please like and subscribe if you found this video useful and if you'd like to be updated with more content like this one. For other investment tips, you can also follow the Rampver Financial's YouTube channel. They focus more on financial education for investments like mutual funds, insurance, and stocks. So if you're interested, I'll leave the link down below. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best in your investment journey moving forward. Bye!